Aloha folks, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is dedicated to Mr. JTM. Thank you so much for all the work that you do and for sharing this interview. Mr. JTM shared an interview with the public the other day, and it was this one here with Dr. Warren Farrell on his new book, The Boy Crisis. Here's his book over here, right under this beautiful product placement of caffeine-laced almonds, aka chocolate-covered almonds, aka caffeine-laced almonds, aka work harder, burn out your adrenals to work. Caffeine, work. Go, burn out your adrenals. Anyway, I just want to talk about some things that this interview inspired. I really feel like I have a better understanding of men and women as a result of this talk. For example, I work with guys with vehicles. I work in the auto industry with a lot of men, and they're constantly talking smack to each other, constantly name calling in a very brotherly love kind of way. And I know so many women that just can't handle that. They can't take any of it. They want everything to be super fluffy and super flowery. And that's fine. But this interview really explains the purpose of the vetting that the men do to each other. And it all stems from the fact that men are expendable. Where does that come from? Because I just called it a fact. Well, that fact comes from a few places. It could come from the statistic that the average human being has twice as many female ancestors as men. Like, well, twice as many. Wouldn't women be disposable if there's twice as many? No, it means that every single woman had one child and every other man had none. Every other man had none, so that means the other guy had two. A man can make how many sperm in a single load versus a woman has one egg per month, 9 months to make one, maybe two, maybe three, hopefully not five. Let's not have octuplets. Hopefully that sucks. My point is, the reason men do that, as described in the video, is because men are expendable and they are training each other's minds to be able to handle distraction. Because if you're expendable, that means you're going to go do the riskier, more difficult, more dangerous jobs. And those jobs are going to have a lot of potential distractions. So if the men can talk smack and attempt to throw each other off, and see who doesn't get thrown off, that's the guy. That's the guy we're going to send out there, because we know he can keep his shit together. No matter what happens, he'll keep his shit together. That's the point of this men's style vetting. It's this idea that men are expendable. As long as we preserve just enough men and the majority of the women, we're going to keep having more men. Men are a type of resource. Okay? And it's very obvious. Men are a type of resource. I mean, the video is called The Boy Crisis. The book is called The Boy Crisis. One of the biggest boy crises I can imagine is in the continent of Africa, where they round up young boys and literally throw them into mines to dig out things like gold, silver, lithium, all of those things. Lithium itself, don't stick lithium in your mouth. I've been taught that before. That'll kill you. But you pull gold out, you're getting mercury. You're getting arsenic. You pull silver out, you're getting lead. Those aren't happy things to be exposed to. Boys are treated as expendable. And toxic masculinity, which is a buzzword that's going around everywhere. Toxic masculinity is expressed in a form of resource mismanagement, is this idea that we can just keep taking and taking and taking and taking risking and risking and risking and risking. And there's just going to be more. There's just going to be more. The women are just going to keep popping them babies out. The earth is just going to keep popping out fresh water. It doesn't matter if we take the fresh water and pump it back down into the earth so that the oil will float up to the top. That's called fracking. Really reduced way of describing fracking, but it'll just keep coming. It'll just keep coming and coming and coming. I don't know if you've ever seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie. Just keep coming and coming and coming. Like, all righty, boys, you're expendable, and you're treating the world as though all these resources are expendable. And that's where it's become toxic. But this is what I really wanted to bring up. How many people are thinking about the counterbalance to that aspect of toxic masculinity? And that is, I want to talk about this part in the title of the video, which I showed you and I'll link below, the myth of male privilege. Now, they talk about the myth of male privilege the way that they want, but this is what I want to bring up, and I want to know if any of you guys have noticed this. The counterbalance to that aspect of toxic masculinity in terms of just constantly going outward and pulling the resources because they're expendable is this other aspect of toxic femininity, which is like, my connection to source is not expendable. And it's become this connection to the physical world, this mix-up of, I need to be connected to this physical world, and that's not expendable. And that is actually, I perceive, to be coming from the transhumanist movement. There's a huge transhumanist movement in which they want to put their consciousness into like a computer chip so that they can find a way to live forever. That is the way opposite. The matrix, that matrix from which we all come from, lives forever. And so that being perverted and toxic is man trying to find a way to live forever, or woman, whatever. But even women go out there and just use resources like there's no tomorrow. So that was really what I wanted to bring up. I wanted to bring up this incessant need to live forever is actually a toxic feminine principle that I suspect is counterbalancing the toxic masculine principle of just resource waste. Anyway, thank you for listening. Mahalo.